Good evening. Welcome to Jam Time and Merry Christmas. Happy New Year's. Glad to be back. Um, so, our theme tonight is basically celebrating Christmas. Um, I have our night sky picture where we've colored in, and hopefully you can see a little bit. It's all colored in, and it's shining down on. You can see all of the stars and the Star of Bethlehem shining above the manger where Jesus was born. So I'm just going to read three verses from Luke 2, which is our part of our Christmas story, and then we're going to look at the Lego and kind of um, see who's all here. So the shepherds hurried off and found Mary and Joseph and the baby, who was lying in the manger. When they had seen him, they spread the word concerning what had been told them about this child. And all who heard it were amazed at what the shepherds said to them. So here in my manger, I have Mary and Joseph, and they're here with some of the animals in the barn. We have a donkey, and we have a little squirrel and a rooster, and baby Jesus in the manger. And here we have three shepherds and some sheep. And we have three kings and their camel, and they all have a gift. And here's the Star of Bethlehem shining over. And so it just reminds us, it's the nativity. It reminds us of Jesus' birth, and that's the real celebration of Christmas. That we get lots of presents and we visit family, but it's all about the birth of Jesus Christ, our Savior. And so we celebrate tonight. So when we celebrate a birthday, this is Jesus' birth, and so we can celebrate his birth. And so I have a birthday bear here, and his package, his present. And when we celebrate birthdays, we also have, we get out of our container, I have a cupcake. We have birthday cakes or birthday cupcakes. We'll set them here with the birthday bear. So I bake the cupcakes, and don't know, do any of you like to cook? Did you know that baking is actually a chemical reaction? So really just baking a cupcake, you're doing science. When you heat up something and it changes, it's called an endothermic reaction. Endothermic reaction, that's when you add heat to something and it changes. So we mix a batter. So, baking is chemistry. You mix the batter, flour, sugar, a little salt, baking powder, or baking soda, depending on whatever your cake recipe is, a little bit of milk, cooking oil, vanilla, egg. So all of the ingredients to make the best cake ever. So we take those ingredients and we bake it for maybe 350 degrees for 15 or 20 minutes, maybe more. And yeah, we get a cupcake. But let's think about some science here. What would happen if we left out the oil? So what you could do is you can find a recipe for a cake, a homemade one, not a cake mix that you buy at the store, but an actual recipe. And you can you can do some fractions, like you look at the ingredients and it calls for two cups of flour, and you're dividing it into four, then you put 1/4 of a cup of flour in each one, and you do 4 cups, 4 different little, take four bowls and mix ingredients in each one. You divide the ingredients by a fourth and put 1/4 in each bowl. And then one of them you leave out the oil, and one of them you leave out the egg, and one of you leave out the baking powder or baking soda, and maybe one you leave out maybe the vanilla, and see what happens when you leave out ingredients. Well, obviously they're not going to turn out the same. And just a hint that most of them aren't as nice and tall and fluffy as this one. Especially we know that baking powder or baking soda kind of that helps it to rise. And all the ingredients have a purpose. So you can make each cupcake different, leaving something out, and make sure you mark which you've left out in each one, and see the difference. check the taste. How does it taste different? How does it look different? And you'll see some of the science of different chemistry, and the chemistry of baking, and just have some fun with it. So, but you need all of the ingredients to make a cake really good. So, and when we eat it and we give thanks for the wonderful cake that we share at birthdays, we also give thanks tonight for the birth of Jesus. We need Jesus in our lives to be the best we can be. Christmas isn't just a day with our family and opening presents. We can celebrate Christmas every day in our hearts and celebrate the birth of Jesus by living out our faith and sharing Jesus' love with others. So, thanks for joining me tonight, and let's close with a prayer. Dear God, thank you for sending Jesus, your Son, to be born. May we celebrate Jesus every day. Amen. Thanks. Have a good night.